this meeting's being recorded. Could you hear any of my opening instructions
I think so.
or guidance? Oh,
Yeah,
good.
should.
I'm sorry. And please don't be
I
shy
can't
if
hear
I,
anybody. Can anyone hear me?
We can hear
we,
you, Merle.
Merle, can you hear me?
It's Merle.
We can hear you. Maybe
We sure?
I'll text her.
I sent a chat to Robin.
Yeah, there
Okay.
you go. All right, Merle. Good luck. If you can turn up your volume, if you can text her and all right, folks. Well, welcome to the year of the dragon. And the way that the world is these days, it kind of feels like we're sailing into the mouth of the dragon. So, here at the beginning of the new year, I'd like to think of maybe having somewhat of a clean slate and, a fruitful time to set resolutions and go, all right, well, 2023 is over. Now I'm giving myself the gift of a fresh start. And so we've got our resolutions. Well, how are they going? And I think in Buddhism, we would use the word intention. What are our intentions? And I know for myself, I often have the most amazing, stunning, beautiful, profound, delicious, sublime, or earth shaking intentions until I get up, until I get out of bed. And then things, you can't tell where things are going to go from there. But I'm being lighthearted about intention, but it's actually a really profound topic and really a profound opportunity. Um, it's so important, in fact, that it gets its own place on perhaps one of the most important lists in all of Buddhism, that Eightfold Noble Path or ennobling path, the path that ennobles us into awakening and peace and well-being and freedom. And it's really the list of how to live your life uh, in a harmonious way with the nature of our reality, the nature of how things are. So if we're in harmony with how things are, then we have the possibility to be not struggling and not suffering. So this eightfold noble path, having a sense of intention that is harmonious with how things are, and that's what the word Dharma actually literally means. The word Dharma means the way things are, how things are. So having an intention, having a harmonious intention to how things are that meshes with our reality in a ventilated way um, is so profound. And I said in the instructions, intention is really the mother of manifestation, the mother of action, the wellspring from which it arises. And in our world right now, the field of quantum physics and mechanics has determined and actually proved that we live in a field of possibility. And so the things that manifest and actually occur and happen due to causes and conditions. And this aspect of forming and holding a skillful intention is one way of causing that field or our lives, our reality, to manifest in the direction of our aims. Our intention is, our motivation, our aspiration. What manifests is what we intend. So, and that comes down to everything that happens, whether it be large things or from the most very basic things all the way up to this letting go that happens into simplicity and naturalness that we call enlightenment. And it reminds me of being on retreat and practicing walking meditation. And when you're on retreat, you have this wonderful container that just is inviting your attention to stay present and hear consistently and continuously, moment by moment by moment by moment by moment. And so with that comes a great clarity about how those moments are, or can come that clarity about how those moments are stacking up. So we practice both sitting meditation, like we did earlier, and also walking meditation. And it's really always been very interesting to me that during the walking meditation, so I'll get up, I'll come to the spot where I'm going to start my walking practice, and I'll go about 15 steps in one direction and turn back around and come back and just kind of going back and forth. But as I come to that place where I'm going to start the walking meditation, before I'll just be standing there still. And before I have lifted my foot, I begin to go, okay, now how is it going to happen that I begin to take a step? At first, I have to have the intention to take the step. We can do it so mindlessly, and when we're in our distracted, busy lives, we don't pay any, thought to it. We're just, if we want to get up and walk, we get up and walk, or we move our leg, we begin walking. It's not something that we bring a lot of thought to. But in this kind of an environment where you can bring that attention in a fine grained level, you can begin to go feel what is the intention that's empowering, that's giving rise to this step that I'm going to take. And it's almost like you can feel a sense of welling up of the intention. And Joseph Goldstein, this wonderful teacher, calls it the about to moment. And I can feel this sort of welling up. And then the moment that the actual beginning of the action of rising my foot off of the ground and beginning to take that step, it's actually a mystery. I never can tell what that specific moment. There's this building of intention, and then magically a step begins to happen. This is intention in a fine grained, sort of detail. It is the mother, it's the wellspring from which, in a sense, everything happens in this infinite field of possibility. And I think of intention and, forming and holding intention as if we're in a field of possibility. It's almost like, I had in my home in California up on the ridge, I had this wonderful industrial kind of sink. And the bottom of the sink was flat. It looked almost completely flat. But if you look carefully, you'd notice there's a little bit of a crease in the bottom, 4 little creases, and that the bottom of the sink is inclined towards the drain. So that the water, no matter where it lands in the bottom of this flat looking sink, would ultimately, incline and grade down and drain towards the drain hole itself. And that's what I like to think of intention when we form an intention in our lives, no matter what it might be about. It's like we're morphing the field of possibility, kind of like the bottom of the sink. We're drawing towards, the manifestation of that goal or aim, the resources and energies necessary to that manifestation. Um, and we can see this kind of stuff happening in our own practice if we have the good fortune to be able to sit on a daily or somewhat regular basis, or come Monday nights, or we might notice we take this observational orientation. A lot of times it's like we're characters in a movie up on a movie screen, and we're just kind of lost in a plot that's written by our conditioning and reactivity. And when we take this mindful seat, it's like we pull ourselves off of the movie screen and take a seat in the theater. And now we're watching the movie instead of being lost in it. And so, if we get a sense and a feel for that, we might, if we're practicing that, we might notice, oh, wow, moments of mindfulness just start to happen spontaneously through our day. If we continue to practice and really have a strong intention about it, that mindfulness might become more and more continuous. We do the sitting meditation. The point of meditation is not meditation. The point of meditation is to be cultivating presence that we can take with us off of the cushion or the chair or wherever we're meditating. Um, and if we're practicing things like loving kindness, well wishing, friendliness, sending phrases um, of kindness to ourselves and to others, we might notice that those start to happen more often. So whatever we cultivate becomes, kind of that drain in the bottom of the sink that attracts more of those moments. And it's beautiful because in understanding this, we have kind of a recipe of how to incline our lives towards happiness and well-being. There are positive and healthy, skillful, wholesome intentions that lead to happiness for ourselves as well as for others. And, intention is so important. The Buddha was very clear that, there are energies in our lives around, especially around, two major categories. They're both based in fear. That's based in a sense of being separate and separated out from everything else. So when we have that feeling of separation, that confusion of I'm not a part of all of it, then that sets up the basis for I need to get more of what I want and keep away what I don't want. I need to protect myself, and this is how I do it. So it sets up the basis for this incredibly deeply ingrained pattern of greed or desire, wanting more, or aversion, hatred, keep it away. And these are active energies. There's a moving towards or a moving away. And so it needs something active. So having an intention to meet these energies, and for the Buddha, the way that he met them was when he faced a moment of greed, whatever, I'm not enough, I need more, I want this, I like it, therefore I want more of it, more, more, more. I need more to be happy. I need this car to be happy, or the job, or the relationship. I need the world to be at peace. Whatever it might be, whether it's skillful or not, there's this, you know, if it's tipped into I need it to be happy, then it's like, oh, wait a second. Maybe I can think about what would it be like if I didn't need that? Maybe we can think about the term in our vocabulary, but how cool would it be if I didn't need that? Do I really need that? And in the case of I can't stand that, that annoys me or frightens me, keep it away, keep it away. This is an experience of aversion and a moving away from. And the way to remedy that is to have an intention towards, well, wait a second, is it truly awful? Is it truly evil? Is it truly annoying? And maybe there's a sense of, kindness and inclusion that may be possible, of acceptance. So, as we feel the rugged truth of the suffering, of the contraction that accompanies this moving towards and moving away, uh, can we meet it? Can we have a resolve, a motivation to meet that without by it.
Bruce, can you repeat that? You
So
froze.
helpful intention.
Hi, sorry, Bruce.
Oh, I did?
You froze, so maybe you could repeat that last sentence for us.
Okay, where did I stop? What was the last thing I said? Am I still freezing?
No, I can hear you now. I can't remember exactly, but it was like just the last
It was
sentence.
deeply profound. It was probably the most
Yes.
important thing I'm gonna say all night. It's just simply that, intention is an active aspect of the Dharma. A lot of it is sitting back and looking and letting wisdom cut through things, but intention has this energetic capacity to meet the active energies of greed and of moving towards or moving away from. Um, and so if we understand that intention is, is key to our practice, it's also important to understanding what knocks us off uh, the path of our intention. And this is really the moment to simply bow to the strength of these energies, uh, the confusion of desire, even addiction, the power of anger, of hatred, the power of fear can be primal, and especially in these days, the year of the dragon, and these are very unstable and challenging times. Um, and so climate change, wars, divisiveness, political instability, you name it. And there can be this sense of powerlessness in the face that these energies are too strong, and we just don't feel stable. Um, so, uh, so it's like, just recognizing it's okay if we lose the connection to our intention, and um, and it's kind of also bowing to the conditioning that already exists. If we have an intention that is cultivating something new, something that we're not used to, typically that's what an intention is about. Uh, it, there's a lot of conditioning there that maybe is pulling us in a different direction. So there's this invitation to be gentle, you know. And if we're clear-eyed about what's challenging about and what can knock us off of our intention, what helps maintain the intention? And really, this comes down to something that we do every meditation period. That's such a basic part of our practice. And this is just repetition, to repeat the intention, to reflect on it. There's even a sense of, can we immerse ourselves in it? Um, One thing I like to do, so I'll share with you that probably my primary and foundational intention is just simply to have a continuity of mindfulness, a continuity of this observational attention to my experience. It's sort of foundational. It's that from which all other good intentions and possibilities flow in my life. And so I find that having that intention, um, and having that be, really at the core of my being, that when my eyes open at the beginning of the day, that oftentimes is the first intention. It's like, okay, can I be here now? Can I be mindful? Um, and to notice how that pops up, or how there might be these extended, long periods of just presence. Some days just spent in presence. And that is a culmination of years of holding this intention. So, to the extent that there can be, in a sense, an immersion, finding places and spots and moments. Some people set alarms on their phones. For me, in the morning, waking up, or right before I go to bed, these are wonderful times. And really also to check in with the intention and see, well, has it changed? Has it grown? Has it deepened? Has it ripened in some way? I think another thing that, helps us to repeat and strengthen our intention is just what we're doing right now, gathering in Sangha, the triple gem, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. The Buddha being our awakened nature that's already there, the Dharma being an understanding of how things are, and the Sangha, you, our community that helps us hold this practice and this exploration, because what we're doing isn't normal. This isn't what our society is doing. We're doing this radical thing of turning our attention inwards. And, especially in a consumerist based society, we're getting messages all the time to pull our attention outwards. And, oh, you need this to be complete, or to be happy, or safe. Um, and so, just bowing to yourself and the profundity and sort of the irregularity of the radicalness of what you're doing. And it really helps to have a community of like minded, like hearted, like practicing souls to be around, to share this path, to share your intention with. Um, and then, one of the things that I find so, I think this is one of the most motivating things, is that when that intention comes to the forefront, and we can see the fruits, we can feel that it was like, oh, I have an intention to be present, but I also have an intention to be uh, to let go more often, not to be so stuck with my views and opinions. And so, let's say, the neighbor's dog is barking again, barking and barking and barking. I've spoken with the neighbor, I've talked with them politely, and what's possible is that, in that moment, it could be, this neighbor and their barking dog, they're so inconsiderate. How am I going to do this? I'm going to have to call the city, and, what kind of a campaign? I need to talk to other neighbors and see if they're being bothered, and maybe together we can go over as a group. And then, oh, but wait, maybe the intention to accept, arises. And it's like, oh, maybe the dog's barking isn't as troubling as I had thought it was. Maybe it stills out, chills out to some degree. And that moment, it's like, oh, I didn't have to do anything. There was just, I had the intention to kind of accept and let go. And it happened magically. It wasn't something that I could, uh, in a sense, uh, add 2 plus 2 and make it happen. It's like I cultivated this intention and it happened. And what does it feel like when the aim of our intention, of a skillful, helpful intention, manifests in the moment? Does it feel good? Can we feel a sense of letting go, a sense of expansion, a sense of relaxation in our bodies? So, this is kind of verifying the validity of, oh, it's possible to cultivate intention. It's possible for it to work. It's possible for it to help in my life. Ooh, that's very, very profoundly motivating. I bet each one of you can come up with many, many ways that you already work with intention in your lives. We all work with intention. So you probably all have a lot of empowerment in this area. Know that you're your best teacher. And, if this is a task like, I have an intention, there's a little 7-minute workout, a high intensity workout, that if I do it every other day, the New York Times tells me that I'm going to live longer and be happier and be healthier. And I kind of, I've been doing it. I've set it out as an intention, and so if it's a task that your intention is and a habit that you want to form, it's really there. I've got a couple of guidelines for you. How can you befriend it and invite it gently into your day? And can you do that on a daily or regular basis? And there's this thing about forming new habits, the 3 R's of routine, ritual, and reward. So the first thing is the routine of it. Can you tie it into an already existing routine of yours? Like for me, waking up in the morning, that's a routine of mine. That's a pretty regular routine. So to have that intention to reflect on, I want to be here today. I want to let go more. Um, that is, I'm tying it in right there. And then I'm practicing it throughout the day as much as I can. But if it's the doing the, if it's doing the exercise, a 7-minute workout, is that something that I can do before I get to breakfast and fill up my tummy and have a lot of stuff gurgling and sloshing around in there? So I find that, for me, it's better to do that before breakfast. Um, and so the ritual of it, well, if I'm going to exercise, maybe I'm going to put on some clothes, maybe I'm going to clear out an area, maybe I'm going to open the blinds, um, maybe I'm going to have a cup of tea first. So can I bring some ritual aspect to it? And in a way, can I set things up so that I've made it easy for that ritual to happen? And I have everything in place. So then making the ritual easy is an important thing. And then at the end, is there a reward? Well, for me, a reward is I love to do the Wordle. So I've determined that I am not going to do the Wordle until I have done my 7-minute workout. And once I've done my 7-minute workout, I get to give myself the bliss and happiness of doing the Wordle, which is a funny little word game that they have on the New York Times. You can tell I'm a bit of a Times junkie. Um, so start small, do it daily. And then here's a really key thing about intention, forming a habit, whatever. And this is the relationship to it. If it's something that can be celebrated, wonderful. But if it becomes a judgment, if it becomes, I have to do this to love myself, to like myself, um, I, I don't measure up, I'm not worthy of my love if I don't do this. We have to figure out a way of holding our intentions and our aspirations um, in a compassionate and self supporting way. So, what should your intention be? I've talked about mindfulness as being a foundational intention. And I think for those of us practicing, it absolutely, um, it has this, it is the fundamental. When we are lost, we are just totally lost. We're gone. When we are mindful, that is the springboard from which all possibilities of truly improving our lives and waking up, um, not improving our lives, but just opening to peace and well being. It's foundational. Um, and it's enough. When we pull ourselves off of the screen, what we're doing is we're giving ourselves some space. And this space itself, when we're not just blindly reacting acting out that which we've reacted or blindly acting out our conditioning. But that space itself, that openness, that space is in and of itself intelligent, and other possibilities arise in that space. Maybe there is an action that's called for. Maybe it's is there something to be learned? Maybe it's I can let it go. Whatever it might be, there's an appropriate response, which the appropriate response might be not to do anything. And when one Chinese Zen master was asked his definition of enlightenment, he responded, an appropriate response. Because we're in the moment, we're of the moment. We allow the appropriate response to emerge out of our merging with the moment. And this is why we call it insight meditation. We call it that for a reason. Insights, Chogyam Trungpa would say, insights are like accidents, and meditation makes us accident prone. So this is a wonderful and foundational. I also like to, another thing that helps with intention is, the bodhisattva aspect, and recognizing, if we really are a part of a connected whole fabric, a field of possibility, as we cultivate these wholesome, skillful capacities and qualities within ourselves, it touches that field. It imbues the field with these positive qualities. And so, can I dedicate my practice? Can I dedicate this moment of being here to the benefit and well being of all? So, it's not just for myself, and that's not some like burden or responsibility. It's like, wow, this is a possibility. This is an inspiration, an aspiration to think that, oh, there's an effect even beyond myself. So we've got a couple minutes left, and I just want to do, uh, let's see, how do I want to do this? I'm going to ask you to just close your eyes, and we're going to touch into your heart space now, and close your eyes and drop your attention down into your heart space, and just feel the truth of how your heart feels in this moment. And heavy, light. Is there a sense of expansiveness or contraction? Is it tight? Is it warm or cool? Is there a sense of vibration, tingling, pulsing, flowing? Just what's this very naked, bare state of your heart at the lived alive level of the heart space, the area of your chest? Maybe you don't connect in with so much. Maybe something's clear. But just to rest there with your heart space, attending to the heart. And notice what happens in that heart space, when I ask the question, what is your deepest intention? What is your deepest aspiration? Maybe nothing happens. Maybe there's a shift in sensation, or an image might appear, some words. If your heart could speak, what would it say? What would it share? What is your deepest intention? And just sit with that for a moment. What is your heart's deepest intention? And when it feels okay, allow your eyes to gently open. And so this is an opportunity to, if you feel like it, if you like to share what came up for you in that exercise, or a question, maybe an answer, a reflection, you're invited to do that now. And thank you for taking that moment with me, taking that moment with yourself and your heart.
Hey, Bruce, this is Jen. Can you hear
Hi,
me?
Jen.
Hi,
Yeah,
Happy New Year. Um,
happy now here.
I would like to share, my son has been thinking about his summer and coming up with sort of descriptors so that when he's applying for internships, he can feel like there's a match. And one of the descriptors that he came up with was wishing to be part of a team. And I just was thinking about that particular language, but then also with the lovely Buddhist component of wishing to be part of a Sangha and recognizing that's what we're all co-creating here. So I just thought I would like to wave to all the people who are here and wave to all the people on Zoom. It's a really special opportunity to do this. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you, everybody. And I'm happy to pass the microphone here in the hall if anybody has a comment or a question or an observation.
Yeah. And those of you on Zoom, if you know how to raise your hand.
Um, this is Robin, Mountain Stream. One of the things that it sounds like I'm pretty loud in the hall. I'm going to turn down the volume. One of the things that I determined over the weekend, my intention for this year is to focus on self-care, putting my own oxygen mask on first, making time for my practice. Because if I do that, even though there's so many demands, that I will be more balanced and have more energy to be present and to give to others. So that's my intention this year.
Wonderful.
Thank you for the talk.
Yeah, you're welcome. I think that's a profound piece of wisdom. You know, when we sometimes it can feel, we can have this maybe a voice that goes, "Oh well, if I'm caring for myself, there's some degree of uh, selfishness in that." And recognizing that when we take care of ourselves, it's really a gift beyond ourselves, whether we, you know, take that out and just by being whole and well ourselves is a gift to all that is. So thank you for illuminating that. Anyone else? Anyone else have a concern or a fear or a reflection, an intention to share?
I was just thinking, um, a fear for sure. There's plenty of those, but I'm trying to not let those run my intentions. But I was thinking when we were doing your little meditation, this is Merle, sorry.
Hi,
Uh,
Merle.
I forget when I'm not in there. If I'm in there, I remember, but if I'm on Zoom, I forget to say my name. I was just thinking how I, went into my heart, and at first, I felt like there was more information of what I should want, or, so I started kind of sifting through that. And then all of a sudden, I got to where I want freedom. I want to be free of this heavy amount of mental suffering, physical suffering, um, emotional suffering. And I feel like at least I know that that's where I am putting my intention. And so whether I achieve it or not, or whether I have moments, thank goodness I do feel like I have moments at least, and sometimes even maybe even a couple of hours. But it was just helpful to see. I was like, oh yeah, I want to be free, and I want all people to be free. It makes sense to me, given the teachings that we're hoping that everyone is free, because that is freedom. Like, it's not just me. I'm not separate. So it's very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Meryl. And a great reflection. You know what I think one of probably the most profoundly motivating and ripening aspects is that when something positive from our practice occurs, to stop in that moment and drop the attention into our bodies and just feel the aliveness, the direct aliveness, the sensations, of that moment of, wow, this is a moment of freedom. This is a moment of acceptance. What does that feel like? Is my heart open? Is it warm? Is it closed? How's my belly? What's happening with my jaw? Just to drop in and just feel what's the station, what's the channel, to get the actual feeling, the felt sense of what freedom is, of what kindness is, of what compassion is. Um, we're feeling these things in their aliveness. And that's something that at the neurological level really helps our neurological system map to and then, stumble upon and remanifest these things. So thank you for your reflections. I see that we're at 10:24 and we're going to have some announcements, but I just want to end with a few moments of metta practice. So I'm going to invite everyone to close your eyes again. And if there's any way in which you can get more comfortable in your posture, this is really this moment where this is the reward moment. Somehow your intention to be happy, an intention to care for yourself, to cultivate good qualities, to maybe awaken even, maybe to cultivate this for the benefit and well-being of others. Somehow this wholesome, skillful intention, which is to be cultivated, which is wise to cultivate and to repeat, got you here today. Because you cared for yourself, you cared for others. It's this recognition that no matter what you may think, you actually love yourself. You matter. And so knowing this and feeling this at the most fundamental of levels, this feeling the warmth of loving kindness in your heart, letting it extend through your body. You wish yourself well, you wish to be friend to yourself. Imagining you're like a candle that glows, and the warmth and the light of the candle can expand through you and then even radiate beyond the confines of your body, radiate out to each other, saturating this field that we share in the moment. And kindness, good wishes, and extending out beyond ourselves throughout this world to people who are acting with kindness and skillfulness, and to people who are not, like the sun that shines indiscriminately on all beings, no matter how they are. Our loving kindness, our warmth may not condone the actions, but it does not condemn the actors, and it touches all equally, recognizing that there are no bounds for this loving kindness, this goodness that is the most fundamental part of who we are. And so, with this intention, with this capacity, we have this simple wish that all beings everywhere may be truly, truly happy. And feeling that energy and that wish expand out from us, I invite you to gently allow your eyes to open. Thank you so much for your attention and your practice. Thank you for your intention. And Jen, oh, I'm supposed to mention, I'm sorry. This is a little bit of a lead in. I'll be hosting or leading a day long retreat on March 24th. Is that a Sunday? Yes. On Sunday, March 24th, I'll be leading a day long at Mountain Stream. And the topic is on gratitude. And gratitude being, we'll be in springtime then. So this effulgence of gratitude. And I can't think of any quality uh, that matches to the awakened state more than gratitude itself. When we feel gratitude, we are overflowing in a way. There's not the capacity for, we're full, we're complete. Um, and it's very, very healing. It's very supportive in these times. And it's not a gratitude that's a Pollyanna, removing ourselves from or running away from anything. It's an unconditional gratitude. So that's what I'd like to explore with you. Tim, so, sorry.
Bruce, Bruce, did you mention you will be live for that, right? You'll be in
Yeah.
California?
I'll be in California.